Good morning, students of class 6. Today we are going to continue our topic agriculture. The chief occupation of the Egyptians was agriculture. The fertile soil, the abundant supply of water from the Nile, and a vast irrigation network enabled them to grow crops throughout the year. It helped them, supported them to grow rich crops. The main crops were, underline it, wheat, barley, and millet of the Egyptians. Vegetables and fruits such as dates, apples, peaches, and figs were also grown. There was certain domestication of animals also. Animals such as cows, sheep, goats, donkeys, camels, and birds, such as doves and geese, were also domesticated. There was simple art and craft. The craftspeople worked very hard to satisfy the demands and expensive tastes of the aristocratic priestly classes. There were skilled craftspeople such as potters, goldsmiths, carpenters, weavers, sculptors, and painters. The sculptors carved large stone statues of kings and gods, while the artisans decorated the tomb walls with exquisite paintings. These paintings tell us a great deal about the lifestyle of early Egyptians. The Egyptians built a number of magnificent temples with pillared halls. The walls and pillars were decorated with beautiful paintings. Medicine. The Egyptian doctors and surgeons were renowned for their skills and the way they were advanced in the technique of mummification, where the dead bodies of the pharaohs were mummified and they were embalmed, wrapped with spices. Spices means that chemicals which were used for preserving the dead bodies. So Egyptian corpse showed that the Egyptians had a deep knowledge of human body and system, and doctors, mainly priests, were specialized in treatment of eyes, teeth, etc. Then came trade. Trade was carried on both by land and sea route. For internal trade, goods were transported by boats and barges. Barges were also a type of boats, long boats, along the Nile and by road on camels and donkeys. For foreign trade, the Egyptians built the world's first seafaring ships. They exported linen, wheat, glassware, jewelry, and furniture. Next, they imported gold, ivory, copper, and cedar wood. There were barter system also. Exchange of goods with goods was practiced. Next, the writing system. Egyptians developed a form of writing called hieroglyphic writing script, which used pictorial form of scripts and letters. Each picture were having stood for a separate word. So, later they developed a simplified alphabet which had 24 consonants and no vowels. The religion of Egyptians worshipped with many gods and goddesses connected with nature. Ra, the sun god, Osiris, the god of death, were among the most important gods. The pharaoh were also worshipped as gods. Each god had his or her own temple and priest. Every city, town, and village had its own favorite god. Certain animals and birds such as jackal, crocodile, bull, and hawk were also worshipped. The Egyptians believed in life after death, so they preserved the body of the dead. A dead body was embalmed with spices and wrapped in fine linen. Such a preserved body is known as a mummy. Underline it. What is mummy? So, the preserved the body of the dead, and a dead body was embalmed with spices, wrapped in fine linen, and such a preserved body was known as mummy. Food, wine, clothes, furniture, jewelry, weapons were put into the tombs, and the pyramids were the tombs of the pharaohs. There were various achievements. First, Egyptians wrote on stone walls and clay tablets. Later, they used paper, which they made from papyrus or water reed. The Egyptians wrote from right to left, using a reed sharpened at the end. They used ink made of soot, gum, and water. the Egyptians introduced the world's first solar calendar. They found that the average time between two annual floods was 365 days. The year was divided into 12 months and each consisting of 30 days. So it was a remarkable achievement. But soon the civilization also came to a decline. We study it later. There were other achievements. Highly advanced system of mathematics started. The Egyptians dealt with a task such as construction of pyramids and monuments with the help of advanced mathematics skills. The need of calculation of time, annual floods were, and astronomy was also developed. The Egyptians were first to make the instrument to observe movements of stars, planets. The Egyptian mummies prepared thousands of years ago are still well preserved. This is the proof of their advanced knowledge of medicine and human anatomy. They also credited with having made the world's first medical diagnosis. Next is decline of the Egyptian civilization. The decline of Egyptian empire set at the collapse of the New Kingdom. By 1000 BC, the glory and splendor of the Egyptian empire had declined. Foreign invasions and internal revolts weakened the empire and reduced it to a shadow of its former self. Thus, Egypt was repeatedly invaded by Babylonians, Assyrians, Persians, and finally by Alexander the Great. Alexander founded the city of Alexandria. It later became one of the greatest cultural centers of ancient world. During the reign of Ptolemy, one of the Alexander's generals, Ptolemy was founder of the last dynasty of Egypt. Herodotus, writing in 5th century BC, observed, "There is no country that possesses so many wonders, nor any that such a number of works which defy description." So, through the decline of Egyptian civilization and empire, the glorious and splendid empire also came to end. It was told that the main reason was the revolts, invasions. Egypt was repeatedly invaded by Babylonians, Assyrians, and Persians, which led to the decline of the civilization, its culture. Thus, the reign of under the greatest cultural centers of ancient world during the reign of Ptolemy and Alexander the Great, the new invasions came up and new findings and new discoveries were also done. So here we end the lesson. Today you will get simple work related to your book exercise, fill in the blanks, true, false, short thing. Okay, choose the correct option. So these all parts you will get today. So you all copy in your copies those all parts. Okay. Thank you, students.